Good evening. It is Monday, December 9th. It is about 18 after 6. I'm Jeffrey Whidden. This is the Law and Ordinance Committee. I'm joined tonight by Mrs. Marshall and Mr. Twist. Tonight we're here to look at a TREX permit for, what is the name of the business? I forget here off the top of my head.
The Links Golf Social.
The Links Golf Social. This would be a transfer of D1, D2, and D3 permit. Mr. Titterington.
Yes, this is something that we've done several times before. TREX is a process that where somebody or a company in this case will, well in all cases, but will attempt to apply for a permit, in this case the 3 Ds that you just mentioned, in the area that they want to locate, which is 200 South Walnut. We do not have available permits. However, TREX allows them to search the rest of the state and find excess permits that are not being used and be able to transfer them down to Troy, provided that they represent an economic development opportunity, which I believe, memory serves, means increasing by at least 1 job. And this, we expect, will do more than that. The D1 is the beer sales on and off premise, D2 is the wine on and off premise, and then D3 is the spirits on premise only. Just a word, we are not asking for emergency legislation, but following the same procedure, typically what we've done, or in all cases what we've done, the committee will read the recommendation, assuming that you make a positive recommendation, and then makes a motion which would be accepted by council. We don't have separate legislation on the agenda for the council meeting in that case.
Okay. In the packet, it said that the managing member, Mr. Filburn, would be here. Is he in the audience tonight? Mr. Filburn, would you mind coming up to the podium?
It's actually 240. There was a question about the address, and so it's 240, and that's been corrected on the application, I believe, but just so the record reflects the correct address.
Sure. Ms. Filburn, in the information provided by, I think it's your council or council, that there was 2 other places that were listed as similar businesses. I think their hours varied slightly, but it was mainly 9 or 10 a.m. till about 8 p.m. on weekdays till about 9 or 10 p.m. on weekends. Is that about the hours of operation you'd see for the business?
Yes. Yeah, I see us, golf probably more in the evenings than the mornings. So, Monday through Friday probably open up about 10 o'clock. Probably 8, 9 o'clock be shutting things down, especially like winter times you get leagues and stuff. But yeah, Monday through Saturday probably opened up till 10, and then Sundays probably noon till 10 or 9, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock would be the latest.
I don't know if you would know, have we spoken to what the capacity, what the fire marshal say, what the capacity is for the building at any one time?
The capacity right now that is on my prints that the Miami County has been working with, I have the 90. 90 is my capacity right now. The permitting process has been started in at Miami County. I've just got those approved, and that was just Friday, and so I need to get those now to the fire chief and push all that right along.
Okay. So, it's hard to say a direct comparison to any other business, but I would assume that you're primarily the golf simulator with service on the side, not a bar first. Is that right?
Yeah. So we're the golf simulators are first and foremost indoor golf. I've done a lot of research. These simulators that we have coming in are not. I'll be the 3rd location in the state of Ohio with them. Okay. Something different, something unique, the latest and greatest technology that's out there. And you're talking. I know that 90 number is pretty high. A group of 4 goes out on the golf course. There's not going to be any more than 4 per simulator, so that's only 16 people in there at a time. But yeah, you know, I'm not here to push the bar scene. It's more, you go out, play around of golf, have a couple drinks, and be done. But as far as pushing the bar scene, that's not on my agenda. It's more or less a social aspect to bring in with the golf.
Would they have to make reservations? I know sometimes you could have just openings, but would
Yeah, online. I'll have booking software that you'll get online and make your reservations ahead of time. We also will have a landline to, you know, if there is availability, someone wants to call and see what we got, we can always check with that as well.
Did anyone have any other questions for Mr. Bills? Here, we can let him go. Sure.
You're just going to have something on this address that says, I went to see where 200 South Walnut is and had my questions about that, but where is 240?
It's part of the same building that it's going to be.
But you know where the ceramic
They're going to be giving it its own separate address.
By the dam.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's at. If that's not.
It's in the building where it's interstate.
Yes, and they're creating these new addresses.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. That clarifies. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Copeland. Oh, sorry, Mr. Phillips.
And you're going to, 4 bays,
Yep.
what you're anticipating?
Yep.
And in the staff report, it was 4+ jobs.
Yep.
That is listed here, and Mr. Titterington just mentioned 1, so.
Yeah, I think you're going to have, you know, I'll be in there, but I'm going to need, you know, you're going to need someone behind the bar. You're going to need people catering. Customer care is everything, and so I definitely want to be able to, however many people that it takes to make that experience the best, that is what I'm going to try for. I've got a consultant that has multiple other locations that I have brought on board with me to get this concept started. And so I've taken his numbers and his employees and what it takes for him to run, and I've ran my numbers based off of the information that he's given.
And are you aware of the facility that's at the green?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I do know just for general information, it is a very active place in that shopping center with this same type of facility. I think they do have some food, but it is limited.
Yes. Yeah, we plan to not have food here. It's just going to be, I really want to push, you know, the golfing is my main drive.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay, thank you.
Just one more question. Do you plan on participating in the DORA?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Twist, do you have any questions?
Now, on a general question on the TREX, the economic development, there's no specific requirements that we must follow. It just has to show at least
a job.
one job is the only one, correct?
Correct.
Mrs. Marshall?
I have nothing.
Actually, I'll go around the horn. Is there any other council members that have any other questions? Anyone from the audience who has any questions? Please come forward, give your name and address.
William Lutz, 801 East Franklin Street. Where this will be is literally right down the street from me, and what I see in that building is a very active business that is used almost every evening, at least Monday through Thursday till 9 o'clock. The practical issue is where are the individuals that are planning to use this business going to end up parking, because the one parking lot that is currently to the south of this address is consistently filled. All of the on-street parking is consistently filled as well during the hours of 3 to 9, Monday through Thursday. So I think from a practical standpoint, that's something that the committee needs to think about. My second concern is that if you take a look at what Walnut Street looks like, between Franklin and Canal, it's fairly residential. Between Race and West Street, it's fairly residential. And this certain property is between Franklin and Canal. And we already have an alcohol establishment, one building south of where this will be. Approving this TREX permit will have 2 neighboring alcoholic establishments in a primarily residential neighborhood. Now, I understand the zoning would approve this, but, you know, I know our community in the past, 50, 60 years ago, had problems with lots of alcoholic establishments concentrated in one area. Why we would try to do that in a largely residential area is something that I think is a concern that the committee should also take a look at. So those were my two main concerns as I saw this application.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was something that was a concern of mine as well, moving into a more residential area with some neighbors that aren't necessarily of like character in that area. Mr. Lutz?
It's like people, you sit down and your third idea finally comes to you. One of the other concerns, and I don't know liquor licensing laws. The building where this will be located is right across the street from a very active congregation, St. John's United Church of Christ. And I don't know if there are current liquor laws that says, you know, you can't have an establishment with so many feet of a church. I don't know that. I want to say there was at one time. Maybe those have been relaxed. But the fact that you have an active congregation right across the street from this is the third point that I think the committee needs to look at.
Thank you.
Only that this is properly zoned for this, including the parking requirements, which, similar to Old Scratch and some of the other area businesses, doesn't have a very large, if any, off-street parking obligation. As far as St. John's or any other congregation, there are no proximity restrictions in Ohio law regarding liquor establishments, other than the zoning type regulations. I'm not sure exactly how active St. John's is. It is a small congregation. I'm not aware that they overwhelm that area, but I'm not a member, so I don't know their membership levels.
Any other comment in the audience?
I do have a question.
Mr. Pierce.
Thank you. In the past, my understanding was that businesses that were interested in obtaining a license to sell alcoholic beverages had to get the sign-off of the people around them, a certain amount of them. Is that not true anymore?
I don't believe that's
I'm not
an obligation
aware
at all.
Is that for Sunday sales, maybe, or?
That's a rezoning requirement. I'm not aware of that as a requirement of applying for a liquor license.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Mr. Fillmore, please come back up.
So regarding the comment on the parking lot, as of right now, like I said, I've kept my eye on that property. Eric Kreitz owns it as of, he is the landlord of that property and that parking lot. Currently, right now, I was in there just the other day, 8 of those cars are employees of Old Scratch. So there will be some signage and stuff out there because of the employee parking there to release parking spots to allow more parking for the people coming in there to golf.
Thank you. Mr. Twist, anything else you'd want to add before we go to a vote here?
No.
Mr. Marshall?
I'm just curious if there would be any concerns about the business if it wasn't going to be serving alcohol. Like, is that, I know that Mr. Lutz, brought up that that's not, residential, like having that another alcohol establishment there. I was just curious what anybody's feelings were, if there wasn't alcohol offered? Was the establishment okay then?
I would not think so. I think that wouldn't be an issue for us to discuss, I would say, though.
I mean, I didn't know if that was a question.
Mr. Chair, this is just to make sure everybody, just to clarify, this is not a rezoning. This is already a business zoning district which allows bars and liquor establishments. This is just a transfer of licenses so that they can use that property as it is zoned.
Understandable. I get that. I think with just being on the border, I think that's the question a little bit, that raises a slight concern. I think with the business being geared away from being a full-fledged alcohol establishment is where I'm at, that I'm not sure if I'd want to put a full-fledged bar over on Walnut Street over there. But because of that, I would be willing to move forward with this. Mr. Twist, do you have a recommendation?
I would move forward.
Move forward.
Council.
Is there anything else to become before the committee?
No, sir.
We are adjourned.